Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And I'm back. Apologies on not getting a show done last week. I was hoping that I'd have been able to get a show done, but I wound up just having things that ran into other things that ran into things, and I just was not able to get this done. And I do apologize. Why did I have things? Well, on the one hand, I could just say, stuff happens. And that's partly it, but I also had travel planned, where I was on an Amtrak for 9 hours. I was actually inside of the train, like I wasn't on the roof of the train. And yes, I'm intentionally being pedantic there because I read a joke recently where somebody said, "Oh yeah, I'm about to get on the plane." And the other guy said, "Well, I'm going to get in the plane." Yeah, bad joke, right? Not quite Duff McKagan joke of the week level bad. Maybe it is. If you don't listen to the Talk is Jericho podcast, and I'm guessing some of you may have heard it. Apparently there's some rock star guy named Duff McKagan. I only know he's the guy that calls in and tells really bad jokes once a week on Chris Jericho's podcast. And yeah, some of his jokes are really, really bad. I think they call them dad jokes these days. But anyways, traveled down to Washington, D.C., and yes, I did feel kind of dirty being in the District of Criminals because, it's Washington, D.C., the land of corruption. But I enjoyed myself. I went down to run a 5K in the first ever Courage to Run 5K, and I was actually invited to be on the campaigns and elections team. There's an organization called Campaigns and Elections. I don't really know all of what they do, but I've got a friend that lives in the area that she somehow got connected with these people, and they said, we want to put together a team of people from across the political spectrum. And she said, I've got a friend that does the running thing, and all I had to do was pay for my travel. And so they wound up paying for the registration, and my friend gave me a place to crash. So that's good, right? So that was, part of the life happened, right? So, there was travel. And again, I was hoping to be able to get things done, but then I just wound up. I'm going to mark it up to bad time management is really what it was, where there was something I was hoping to be able to get done on Thursday that I didn't get done until Friday. And that wound up, something needs to not get done. And this was the thing that did not get done. And I've spent way too much time explaining that. So let's jump into, and, like I could talk about upcoming things. And speaking of upcoming things and Darryl doing the running, in just over 6 weeks, I'll be running the New York City Marathon, and I am super excited about it. Running for the Innocence Project. And again, I've mentioned the various ways that one can run the New York City Marathon, where I'm a charity runner, and I've already met the minimum goal of $3,500. But my personal goal is I want to raise $5,000 for the Innocence Project. I'm currently at $4,500, meaning that I'm just $500 away from the goal. And Wrongful Conviction Day is coming up on October 2nd. If I could meet the $5,000 goal by October 2nd, I would be incredibly happy. Like, super, super thrilled. You don't even know how thrilled I would be. So if you have a few bucks to toss to the Innocence Project, head over to run.fppradio.com. That link is in the show notes. It's been in the show notes for a while. Run.fppradio.com. And something else upcoming that I'm not going to give away all of the details of, but there is a new book that is getting the finishing touches put on it, and I was really hoping to have this out by summer. That ain't happening, right? So, not coming out by summer, but fingers crossed it will come out mid-October. Halloween, hopefully at the latest. So fingers crossed on that, and definitely look for more information on that coming up. Now, let's talk about, and this is something that, over the last couple of years, really, since I started my, I don't want to say weight loss journey because it's become so much more than just Darryl losing weight, but let's say my life transformation to where I started getting in shape and started doing the running thing. And if somebody would have told me 3 years ago that I would be running a marathon and I would be super, super excited about it, and I would already have penciled into my calendar a 100-mile ultra, I would think you were crazy. But over those, last couple of years, people have asked various questions of, like, how have you lost weight? And the short answer is I severely restricted calorie intake. I stopped eating crap and started, paying attention to what I was eating. And I also started going to the gym. I didn't start running until after I had lost the weight. And I know that there are some people that, they run while they're going through, shall we say, the transformation of caloric intake. I hate to use the word diet, but I don't know of a better word to use. And I'm not saying that their way is right and my way is wrong. I'm not saying my way is right and their way is wrong. There are a bunch of different ways to do the thing. But let's talk about some weight loss things that aren't diet or exercise. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism, and we'll jump into the article from Map My Fitness or My Fitness Pal, both of them being the same thing, basically. So there's the app, and you might be curious, like, Darryl, how can you confuse those things? Those are completely different words. And yes, they are. But one of the apps that they put out is Map My Fitness. They also have Map My Run. But the website with the blog is MyFitnessPal. but it's all kind of connected. So before we jump into that article, I want to make sure that I tell you about a sponsor that they've been around for a while, since about the beginning of the year, formerly known as Zencash. They recently rebranded to Horizen, Horizen. They're a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizen platform enables real-life uses beyond just cryptocurrency, including the ability to privately chat with other users. Soon, Horizen will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizen, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizen.global. Horizen. Horizen.global. Now, jumping into the article again, 8 tips for weight loss that are not diet or exercise. Article begins, most people know what they need to do to lose weight. Eat less, move more. While it might not be that simple for everyone, the truth is not knowing how to eat well or how to exercise is not usually the reason people struggle with weight loss, although it does happen. But if you feel confident you know how to fill your plate with the types of foods that will help you reach your goals, and you know how often you should be hitting the gym, and you're doing all of those things, but you're still not losing weight, then your mental game is likely the missing piece of the puzzle. It turns out the way we think about food, our body, and our goals makes a big difference in how likely we are to stick to a weight loss plan, regardless of whether your plan involves counting calories, going keto, or hitting a boot camp class 3 times a week. And going to pause here to say that, yes, I am aware that there are some people that will say there is only one diet that everybody should follow, and it is fill in the blank. Those people are wrong. They're just wrong. Because there's not one diet that everybody should follow. There are various reasons why certain people have bad reactions to certain diets. And by bad reactions, I don't mean, like upset stomach, diarrhea, things of that sort. There are just some people that, for whatever reason, and there are a variety of reasons, why some people don't do well on a vegan diet. There are some people that, for a variety of reasons, don't do well on a keto diet. I know the keto people, they'll freak out if you tell them that. Some of the vegans will freak out if you tell them that. They're like, what do you mean that the one thing that I do isn't what everybody should do? I have discovered this to be the objective. No, it's not objective. Just because it works for you doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. Continuing on. Again, 8 weight loss tips that aren't diet or exercise. So forget a moment about, eating animals, eating vegetables. Should you only ever stare at pictures of food and be a breatharian? Forget about all of that. The author of this article says here, fitness and nutrition pros dish out their best advice for staying motivated and on track without needing to try out a new trendy diet or adopt an intense new workout plan. And yes, some of these things are just new trendy diets. Who remembers? And yes, I realize I can't actually see the show of hands, but just humor me for a moment and play along at home. Who remembers the grapefruit diet? And I don't remember the specifics of it, but it was one of those things to where you eat half a grapefruit for breakfast and drink a cup of coffee. And then you eat a grapefruit for lunch and you stare at a picture of something else. You didn't actually stare at a picture, but you get where I'm going. But the thought was, if you only ever eat grapefruit, then something, blah, 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 you just magically lose weight. And then there was the Atkins. And then Atkins cranked up to 11 was paleo, and then paleo cranked up to like 12 or 13 is keto. And then there are the people that swear by you should only eat things that have grown in the dirt because somehow killing a living thing, although plants somehow while living are also not living, or something like I don't understand the sort of weird, and I'm going to call it mental gymnastics that have to be made to say that you should not eat living things. You should only eat vegetables. Yeah, take as much time to digest that statement as you need. And while you are digesting that statement, let's get into the 8. I've been talking about this for quite a while without actually telling you any of these tips. Number 1. Starve the distractions. Jess Glazer, certified personal trainer and founder of Fit Trips, says all too often when we eat, and talking about myself here sometimes, actually most of the time, when we eat, we are multitasking. Yeah, that's right. We're watching TV, answering emails, scrolling through social media. These are habits that are detrimental to having a strong, clear, healthy relationship with food, and they can hinder our ability to make dietary changes. Glazer has more thoughts that I'll jump into, and then I will continue, hopefully with fewer interruptions from myself, the 8 weight loss tips that are not diet or exercise. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
During the 2013 Porcupine Freedom Festival, Davi Barker presented an idea for a renegade psychological experiment. Since then, he has refined his idea and put his plan and research into writing. He explains, "We aim to show the world beyond a shadow of a doubt that power corrupts absolutely and corrupt authority deserves no obedience." Authoritarian Sociopathy is available from Amazon.com, all major bookstores, and now available as an audiobook. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, Spendabit, and Amazon at shop.fppradio.com, helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And before I continue, I want to make sure that I tell you about a website that if you are a person that likes using Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies and you want to know where you can spend them, luckily for you, there is a search engine. It's called Spendabit. Spendabit.fppradio.com is the link that you should go to find millions. I'm on the site right now. They say 3 million plus products from thousands of merchants that accept cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin anymore. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Again, use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. That's spend a bit, all one word. Spendabit.fppradio.com. And now let's jump back into this article about 8 weight loss tips. And yes, the link will be in the show notes where you can read the full thing at your leisure without my interruptions. 8 weight loss tips that are not diet or exercise. Tip number 1, starve the distractions. Stop multitasking. while you're eating. Stop watching TV, answering emails, scrolling through Facebook. You know you do it. I do it. So this isn't just me, giving advice to other people. As I've often said, if I repeat something multiple times, I'm talking to Darryl as much as I'm talking to you. Jess Glazer, certified personal trainer, says in order to truly focus on what you're eating, how much you're eating, why you're eating those specific foods, and most importantly, how those foods make you feel, you need to starve the distractions. That means when you eat, just eat. Focus on the food, the process it went through to end up on your plate, where it came from, and how it nourishes you. With this technique, you're more likely to finish a meal feeling satisfied. Number 2, consider what you're not willing to do. Brian Nguyen, trainer and CEO of Elementally Strong, says this might sound counterintuitive, but it helps if you can provide a why when motivation is waning. Declare in writing what you are not willing to do. He says, I'm unwilling to be the old dad who can't play sports with my children. He says, this hits me in the heart every day I wake up. It gets me on the foam roller and my Versa Climber in the morning. It allows me to choose a healthy salad over junk food because I visualize myself running on the track with my children. And again, talking about the why. And this is something, you know how sometimes there are sort of recurring themes that you hear in a variety of different places? Yeah, the remember your why is something that I hear a lot. So, Darryl, why are you running the New York City Marathon? Why have you penciled in a 100-mile ultramarathon for October of next year? And some of this is because I want to see, can I do this? I want to push my own limits and see what all I can do. And I also, I want to get rid of this tummy fat. I want to see my ab muscles that I don't believe I've ever seen, other than that one time I took a picture at just the right angle and I think I saw an ab. Yeah, that's right. I think I saw one once. That's part of my why. What is your why? Number 3, stop labeling food as either good or bad. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You've probably heard someone say they ate something bad. Maybe you've even said it yourself. Kyle Camp, a registered dietitian, says the trouble with bad foods is that they'll send you to the grave after a bite or two. The trouble comes when we eat excessive. Or actually, he says the trouble is not that they send you to the grave after a bite or two. The trouble is when you eat excessive portions of really calorie-dense foods for every meal, every day. Instead of labeling foods as good or bad, think about which foods you can eat a lot of and which ones you should eat a little bit of. Then plan ways to eat the food that you really like in portions that fit your overall goals. Camp says a good example of this would be having a slice of pizza alongside a club salad with chicken breast, avocado, and a bit of dressing. This is vastly different than eating 3 slices of pizza, 4 breadsticks with cheese, sauce, and half a liter of soda. Number 4, they suggest brushing your teeth after every meal. Tracy Lockwood Beckerman, registered dietitian and nutrition expert at Betches Media, says after eating, you still have a lot of taste of food in your mouth, which often causes people to eat more, even if they are full, or you might engage in a nibble or two of dessert. Brushing your teeth will remove the taste of food from your mouth, and the clean, minty freshness will serve as a cue that mealtime is over. Number 5, focus on, and I realize this is going to wind up not being popular among some people. And there's the elimination diet that seems to be popular nowadays. Yeah, tip number 5 here ain't going to go over well with the elimination diet, people. Stay tuned. I'll tell you what it is, along with the other 4. Because 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 4 more items on this list of 8 weight loss tips that are not diet or exercise. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
This is Will Coley of the Call to Freedom, and you're listening to Darryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I will speed through these, and I will do my best not to interrupt myself, because I do that from time to time, right? Like I will be in the middle of one thought, and then I just sort of interrupt myself with another thought, and then I'll start reading, and then I interrupt myself from my reading to give a thought, and then I interrupt that thought, and then, it's like, woo, woo, train just goes off the tracks. Focus on crowding, not cutting. This is the one that the elimination diet people aren't going to like. Glazer, again, someone who was referenced earlier, Jess Glazer, certified personal trainer, says the most common first step during dieting is to cut. We cut our portion sizes. We cut our bad foods. We cut out entire food groups. This act of cutting puts us and our minds into scarcity mode. When something is off limits, even if we're able to avoid it for a while, you could end up binging on it later just because you've gone so long without it. Instead of cutting, focus on crowding. If you crowd your plate and fill it up with more foods like veggies and protein, it simply allows less room for the other stuff. In other words, shift your focus away from what you can't eat and celebrate the foods that you can, that will help you reach your goals. Number 6, and this is something that I've done a lot of in certain realms, tracking. They say take tracking a step further. Track what you eat, when you eat, how much you ate, and how that food made you feel. Glazer says being completely honest with yourself and writing down every single thing that passes through your lips will help you start to notice that maybe you actually do snack. Possibly take in more sugar than you thought. Eat when you're bored rather than just when you're hungry. Or maybe you have a habit of snacking before bed while watching TV. I also use some fitness apps to track my exercises, to track my runs. So there's a lot of different ways you can do tracking. There are some apps that will help you with the tracking of the food. I found them kind of difficult to use, so I created a spreadsheet. And I also track my weight every morning since March 20th of 2015. Now, if I'm traveling, I don't take my scale with me, so there are a few days here and there, and I think there's been one day where I forgot to write what I ate down, and then the next day I couldn't remember what I ate the day before. Number 7, prioritize good sleep. We've talked about the importance of sleep before. And number 8, set aside time to disconnect. That means get away from the electronics. I'll be back next Friday answering your questions. Send those over ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.